Well, hello my friends, it's Shawn Petite. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Look at these cute spring cards. Here are the supplies that we'll be using and the stencils that we're using today for these cute cards. So I am starting with an old card that I had in my stash, and this is a great way to reuse some things that you already have, some old cards or things that you might be saving. I've cut a piece of mixed media paper and I've gessoed it to make it a little bit stronger. And then I cut just a piece of vintage paper to match the size, and I'm putting that down with my matte gel. And I'm not using Liquitex fluid acrylic. I'm using Liquitex matte gel because I want the paper to be nice and smooth, no wrinkles, so that I can create on top of it and have a nice smooth card. And I chose not to do tags this time because I'm not going to see my grandkids, and so I'm having to send things away, and so I'm making cards instead. So I started with some F&W acrylic ink in sepia, and I've just plopped it down onto my substrate there and put some water down, and I'm just kind of picking that up. I really wanted this to look water stained, coffee stained, that kind of thing. So I'm just kind of watering that acrylic ink down. I grabbed a roller washi tape and just created some circles, like I said, because I wanted it to feel like it was coffee stained or something. And I just love the color of this acrylic ink. It's called sepia. And so I'm just dabbing it up to kind of get the look that I want, and then I'll set that aside to dry. I have grabbed my tulip stencil and some archival inks and purples and greens and pinks, and I'm stenciling on tissue paper because I love the background so much. I didn't want to risk stenciling on top of it and not liking what I had. So I decided to just stencil on tissue paper and then put that tissue paper down. And this is just a great way to be able to add any design, any background, anything like that to any project without any risk of ruining your background, because if you don't like it, you can redo it. If you put it down and it doesn't look good, you can always take it up. So it's important to use archival ink or a waterproof ink that's going to stay put, like a StazOn maybe, so that when you put it down, it doesn't bleed or move. So now I've gone to my Liquitex fluid matte medium. Fluid matte medium is key when you're putting tissue paper down, because that's the more on there, the juicier it is, the more it will make that tissue paper disappear into your background. So I cut those tulips apart, and I'm just placing them down where I think they're going to look good, because I know I'm going to add a few more elements to the card and that kind of thing. And I'll just cover it back up with some more fluid matte medium. And again, don't be stingy on your fluid matte medium, because you need all of that so that that tissue paper goes transparent. So I've cut a piece of vintage wallpaper here, and I'm just creating this base to the card, a place to where the eye will be drawn to. I have these words, Happy Easter or Happy Spring, printed out, and they are available in the resource library for you to use on any of your projects if you would like. These cards are also going to be available for you in the resource library so that you can use them for your Easter mailings or different things like that. Spring, and I've got Happy Spring and Happy Easter in case you don't celebrate Easter. But I'm just adding a little bit of that sepia acrylic ink to that copy paper. This is just straight copy paper, straight from the printer that I printed out the words on. And I'm just kind of grungying it up because it was too stark white for that wonderful grungy background. And I'm just putting my acrylic ink down and picking it up, and then I'll dry it with my heat tool. Once that's all ready to go, I will put all of this down again with matte gel, because matte gel is less fluid and it causes less wrinkles. Put all of that down, and then I'll trim up the edges. Now I've chosen an Inktense pencil because I didn't want to have to add a fixative or a sealer. I wanted it to be easy. The idea behind making cards and tags is that it's easy and simple. And I chose my Inktense pencils because once they're dry, they're permanent. And I felt like that would give me the opportunity to not put any kind of sealer or fixative or anything like that. I did end up adding some charcoal pencil to this piece because I just wasn't getting that definition with the Inktense pencil. I still liked how it looked. It gave it kind of a watery color effect and shadowy kind of feel, but I still wanted a little bit more for my shading, just to add a little bit of depth and dimension and pull that focal point away from the background. So I will add a little bit of charcoal pencil to this project. So there's a lot of really cool stuff in the resource library. I've added a bunch of different things for everyone, especially during this time when we're home and we need some things to do. So I've added a bunch of fun things to the resource library. I've also added some coloring pages to the shop that are free to you. I had charged for them in the past, but they are free to you so that you can take your mind off of things and color and do some fun things. And I'm going to be doing a couple projects with those in the coming weeks. So here's where I got my charcoal pencil out, and I just added just a tiny bit. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't leave the charcoal pencil out. It just needed a little bit. I'm going to edge the edges with my archival ink, and what that does is it just, instead of having a raw white edge when you put the card down, it looks finished. Adding just a couple of highlighted dots. I needed that pop of white to brighten it up and to, again, move the eye around the composition. Spraying my card with the fixative, and then I can seal it, and it is ready to go. I'm putting my tape down. I use double-sided tape onto my card, and ta-da! Cuteness! All right, on to the next one. Okay, so this one, I had a little bit of technical difficulty. I've cut my same mixed media paper down to size, and I put Deco Art Crackle Paint down, and that's the part that got deleted. So what you're looking at here is that piece with the crackle paint already dried and ready to go. And again, I've used my sepia acrylic ink, and I'm just letting all of that wonderful sepia color get down into all of that crackle. Deco Art's Crackle Paint is by far my favorite crackle product. It works every single time. It's reasonably priced. I just love it. So as I begin to pick this up, you can see all of that crackle. It just makes my heart happy. I just love it. This card here is my favorite because it's got all the grungy goodness. So now that I've got all of that down, I have pulled out my Flourish stencil, and I just love how this looks on this piece. It's delicate, it's soft, it adds interest. I'm stenciling that right on to the piece with my black archival ink. I didn't do tissue paper on this one, on the first design, because I knew exactly where I wanted it to go and I wasn't worried about it. So I'm doing that on my bunny here. I'm stenciling onto tissue paper, and part of that is because I want a nice clean edge on my stencil image, and with all that texture of where I wanted to put that rabbit, I wouldn't have been able to get that detail like I did on the tissue paper. So I put that down with my Liquitex Fluid Matte Medium, and now I'm just going to fill it in. I'm using Lucas's Titanium White, and I'm just going to fill that in, and then I'm using a few Deco Art color paints as well. They sent me some new paints, and I'm just trying them out. So all of the supplies and everything will be listed on the blog, and the link to the blog is down below in the YouTube description box. And I will have in the blog as well all of the videos that I've been doing over the last few weeks to give you some diversion to what's going on in our world. In case you have missed some, all the links will be on the blog as well in the blog post. So I'm just continuing to fill in my little rabbit here. This is the Woodlands Creatures stencil, and I took out my charcoal pencil right away. I knew I wanted very good definition, so again I will seal this with a fixative and add my sealer on top of that once I get it all done. But I knew I wanted that defining line of the charcoal pencil. And this is a General's charcoal pencil in extra soft. Adding some more defining lines to all of the areas with my charcoal pencil. This one was super simple, but I just love it. The crackle in the background. Sometimes less is more, which is super hard for me to do. These are some more of those words that I have available to you in the resource library that I just cut out and put down. And I left these ones whiter because they pulled out the white in the bunny, and then I'll shade around it. I have my archival ink in potting soil to shade the edge, give it a little bit more grungy goodness. And then I'll edge the side with some more black and around the edges. And then my little bit of shading for the words to just kind of make it feel like it's not, that it's part of the piece and it's got a little bit of shadow to it. And that one is done. Look at how cute. I'll put my tape again on the back and mount it to, this is just a regular cardstock card that I got from Michael's. And I will put that down on top and it is done. Super easy. Just love it. Love it. Moving on to the next card. Again, I took some cardstock that I had, that's again from Michael's, cut my mixed media paper and gessoed it. And this paper here is also available to you in the resource library. Like I said, there's a ton of papers that I added so that you have some resources to create with during your stay at home time. I just cut out that paper to fit right down on the back of my card using, again, my matte gel. And I will put that paper down, and again, the matte gel helps there to be no wrinkling. And typically I love the wrinkles, but not when it's a card. I want it a little bit more sophisticated than my grungy stuff. So I have my bouquet of flowers stencil out here and my lavender stencil, and I'm going to continue to stencil around the edge of this piece. And again, I'm using Lucas paints and a couple of Deco Art Media or Deco Art Americana paints that they sent that I am kind of experimenting with. But I'm just creating a frame around the card. And all of these are made to be super, super simple, because that's what we want. We don't want it to be a 3-hour project for a card. We want it to be simple, from the heart, something that we can give away that says, you know, I did this for you, kind of thing. So that's how I designed these cards. Super easy and simple. So check out the resource library for all the fun goodies that are there. If you are not a subscriber, you can subscribe at the link below in the YouTube description box or on the blog. So I've grabbed my Inktense pencil again because I wanted a little bit of watery color, because the background paper was kind of like that. I wanted to kind of match that. And so this will be my shading for this piece. I hope you enjoyed all the projects. I hope you can grab your cards in the resource library if you want to use them, and you can use them for whatever you want. Give them away, give them to your mail carriers or all the people that are doing all the wonderful jobs for us as we are hunkered down at home. And I hope that you are taking care of yourself. I hope that you stick around for the conversation at the end. It's just a big giant thank you to you, my loves, for being here day in and day out and for sharing this journey with me. All right, I'm going to add a few more dots and dashes and things like that, add some shading and some edging with my archival ink pads, and that's about it. Super easy. Look how cute this is. Oh my goodness, just makes me happy. Some charcoal pencil. Don't forget to seal with a fixative and then add your sealer on top of that so that they whoever you give it to doesn't have any charcoal on their hands. All right, my friends, I will see you next week. Well, hello, loves. Happy Sunday. I don't even know what day it is. Everything feels strange and hard right now. Yeah, happy Sunday. This is a Sunday video. So, look how cute these are. I just love them. This one's my favorite, of course, because it's got all the crackly goodness. Each one has its own, like, wonderfulness. The background on this one, love, love, love. So these are going to be free to you, just the main image, of course, for you to use however you want to use them. If you want to print them out and use cards or make tags out of them or whatever you want to do, they're free for you in the resource library. Of course, you can make your own, but these will be available to you to use for your Easter cards, because I normally do tags for a holiday kind of thing and then put them on the gifts for my grandkids, but I'm not going to be able to see them this go round, so I will be sending things, and so I'll include cards. So that's why I did cards this time instead of tags. So I went over everything in the video. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, the other thing is there are some, like the background paper here that I used in this one, that's also going to be in the resource library. I added a ton of stuff in the resource library for you, because I know we're supposed to be staying home and we can't go out and maybe shop for some things or whatever, and these are some free things in the resource library, papers and whatnot, for you to use in your projects if you would like. Doing what I can to give you some inspiration during these times, and giving you videos and stuff like that. I'm also in the blog post, which the link is down below in the YouTube description box. In the blog post, I'll have linked to all of the videos that I've done for a calm journaling series, and then for the question and answer. In case you've missed any of those, there's like 6 question and answer videos, and there's 2, 4, 6, I think, or more by the time you see this. I don't know. I'm so lost on the days. 6 videos for the Calm Journaling series, so you can watch those and have some inspiration and creative time, hopefully, if you are needing that right now. And I will be honest with you, so I had completely forgotten that it was Easter. It just kind of popped up on my calendar because I was I put on my calendar like to prep for some Easter thing, and I had 100% forgotten about it. And just because everything is happening the way that it is, every day is a new thing. And with the girls being not in the shop any longer, April's working from home, I'm kind of doing everything, so I feel a little, my schedule, everything's kind of out of place, like everybody. And so we're just learning this new way of living right now. And so I had completely forgotten about Easter, and I just feel terrible about that, because for me and my faith, Easter is a big deal. And so I quickly put my Easter cap on and did something for you guys today. I don't have a message in particular, but I do want to say how grateful I am for this community. You guys are still ordering stencils and prints and totes and pillows and hats and all the things. And I am so incredibly grateful for that, because that allows me to be able to continue to pay the staff their salary while they're at home. And it makes a huge difference in their lives, in my life, that we can kind of keep them happy and that kind of thing. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for continuing to order and get your stencils, and for continuing to watch and be a part of the community and do your projects. I'm seeing all the projects on Instagram, and I'm trying to repost them as often as I can. Such wonderful projects in the Creative Souls Facebook page as well. I'm going to put a kind of a collage together of all the Facebook projects and post that as well. It's easy for me to repost them on Instagram because it's just kind of a screenshot and then reshare. Facebook's a little bit different. So I'll be sharing your projects on Facebook as like a collage kind of thing here soon, I hope. We've got a couple more weeks of calm journaling coming, and so and then we'll be finishing that up. But I just hope that everyone is staying safe and you're keeping well and you're staying home. And I just want you to know how grateful I am for you, and that I love the emails that I'm getting and kind of the updates on your lives, and how I just pray for you every day. And I am just incredibly grateful for what you do for me and how you inspire me and how you continue to support us. So I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and I hope that you always, always know that you are loved.